Well, good morning. We've got a little bit of light rain. The sun is rising, and I'm sitting here looking at the latest casino, the one that we put down last episode, and I'm trying to make a decision. Actually, I've got several decisions that I need to make. Um, this casino, it looks like it's going to turn a profit. I've been watching it for a while, but all along, I was getting plenty of low wealth tourists. I'm pleasantly surprised at the number of high wealth tourists, but up until just now, I wasn't getting any medium wealth tourists. So I just need to keep an eye on it because it's interesting that this casino, up until just now, was bringing in low and high wealth tourists, and this casino has low wealth rooms and it has a high wealth penthouse. This casino does not have any additional rooms for medium wealth. And so, what I'm trying to figure out, because remember, I was trying to keep this from, I was trying to keep this in line, the height of this casino in line with that building, and I'm wondering if those add-ons would make it too tall. And I guess that you could put it on there, and if it's too tall, get rid of it. But I would kind of like I'd kind of like to turn a profit. And even though I don't have a single medium wealth tourist staying, we're pretty full. I think we would turn a profit, but I'm not sure. Maybe I should just go ahead. Let's go ahead and add it on. Let's see how it happens over the course of the episode. And then I can get into some of the other things that I'm trying to decide. And I'm also going to get some feedback because I do want your feedback on this. Let's see what it may be all for nothing. We may add these and it not man, that is taller. I was hoping it would be. We're going to need to get rid of one of these. We're doing really well with low wealth. It's the medium that I need. So let's get rid of poker. Get rid of poker. Now let's go back to. Let's do this. Do this. 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 Let's see what it looks like. That's not bad. I can live with that. I can live with that. I'm kind of thinking, I wonder what it does. We've been doing this pavilion. If we put one on either side, well, we could put one there. And I am thinking, let's maybe put a park and ride there. Let's see what happens with our. let's see what happens. That might do it. All right. Nice. Okay, so I really do think that I talked about this last episode and maybe even the episode before. I don't know if I want high-rise buildings. I don't think I do. I don't think I want high-rise buildings in this city. I think I want this to remain medium, which means I don't think much more is going to develop because this road is high density. We could make these just to help with traffic. All right. In between episodes, I did go ahead and go residential because remember we were looking at some yellow there. That's better. I don't know if we had enough residential to satisfy the amount of commercial that we had. And now we have almost a completely green city. We've got a building there that's lime green. We've got a couple of buildings lime green, but for the most part, all right. So, and it's so, this is, I love all aspects of creating these cities, but I think when I'm doing tourism, I think that's the reason why I have just a bit more fun. There's something about the tourism aspect, gambling, and you tend to make the city a little bit prettier. If we're doing something that's just industrial, we're much more grid-like, and I think that's why I have a little bit more fun with this. But as we tell this story, because several seasons ago started telling stories, and I think that's added to the fun of creating these cities and regions and seasons. And as you know, if you think about it, we are well into this city, which means we only have one more city left, and then we'll be moving on to another region and another season. You haven't heard any future music because you haven't heard future music because we haven't done anything future related. We haven't done any mega towers. We haven't done any Omega or the Academy. None of that. And this region, this season has been about creating cities that are friendly with the environment. But as I'm telling the story and as I'm thinking about it, over here we did research, and the research allowed us to unlock a spaceport. We also did research that allowed us to unlock concentrated solar. And I know that's not that far-fetched and that futuristic of a technology, but it kind of gets me thinking, are those some of the steps that has these residents now thinking more future? So the question is, because I'm going to need time to prepare, so that's why I'm asking for feedback now. I'm almost certain that when we move on from this region, the residents, some of the residents in the story that we're telling, are going to go to another region. And now that they've opened the door to technology, that region's going to have a lot of future, a lot of cities of tomorrow. So, what I'm wondering is, do we begin that process? Do we open the door to cities of tomorrow? And it's not going to be anything outrageous, but do we begin that process? Does this city start the process of future items, buildings, future music as we start to wrap up Serenity Key and move on? That's what I need feedback on. Do we do an entire region, entire season, zero cities of tomorrow, or do we kind of just hint at it with this city? That's what I'm not sure of, and that's what I need feedback on. I know in this episode we're not doing high rises, so you can give me feedback on your thoughts on high rises in this city. Do we do more developing here? I like the greenery. I'm happy with the fact that this casino is here, but it's surrounded by a lot of trees. I wonder if we can get more trees here. But I need, while I'm trying to figure it out, I just need your thoughts on, especially as we move on, to that city over there. So, all right, good, good. We are doing well. I'm really enjoying this city. Okay, 90% approval. No rubble, no abandoned buildings. We already checked this. Everything is primarily green. We've got landmarks. We've got Big Ben. We've got some British style buildings. Maybe we do, French inspired or German inspired. That's another thing. Let me know. Maybe we do another city pack over there. All right. So power. Oh, speaking of power, how do we want it? Maybe we kind of do them like that. Let's do another one. Yeah. Maybe we'll get to the point where we're sending electricity out there. Okay, water. We've got plenty of water, but I'm going to go ahead. Let's do that. We're good with sewage. Actually, we're okay with sewage. Got that. It's 2 p.m. and garbage has been collected. Let's do that. I mean, because we've got a nice 11,000 per hour cushion. And I know with tourism it fluctuates, but right now, since we've got this cushion, we have We've never really had a major fire issue in this city. Health. I don't think we've put down any additional ambulances. Look at that. 0 patients being treated, 0 patients in the waiting room. I don't think we've put down any extensions in this city. 2 people are being treated. We may do more health care later. Crime, that's good. 4 cars, 1 helicopter. How much are extra cars? They're much, much more affordable there. Let's do just a few more cars. What's my capacity? Nobody in jail. Education. All right, last episode we talked about the annex. Let's go ahead and it looks best there, and I don't think it's going to interfere. We could do it there. Let's look at this again. We've got plenty of. I don't see how we're going to use much more sewage, and we can always put one there. And for my electricity, I think we're good with electricity. But if we need it, we could put one there and there. And then, oh, we can also put some there. So yeah, let's go ahead and do. I don't know why, but for some reason, I really want this annex here. I don't know why, but it's. Got that. We got good tech level. Tech level's good. "13-minute wait." I was talking about putting down double-decker bus, but maybe we won't. We got wonderful. I would kind of like. Maybe I can try to. We can try to figure out streetcar, but where would I even put streetcar? So bus is good. Train is a 7-minute wait. I never got around to an extra train station. 93-minute wait for boat. Look at that. That could be. I mean, that would only. We would only lose. Maybe we do another. We do boat here and out here. That would bring in more tourists. Oh, look at that. That would bring in more. How about jobs? Oh, we've got lots of jobs. And this would add jobs. We're going to have to get rid of these parks temporarily. Maybe we'll put a park and ride somewhere out here. We'd lose a house. I don't want to lose any more commercial. Actually, those are not. When you do industrial buildings, sometimes the simulation will put down little. So let's do this. Let's do that. Now, we got rid of 2 parks. I have to think those parks, and they were also pushing back on that negative influence. So let's get those parks back if we can. Oh yeah, we've got plenty of, let's do one there. Maybe put one here, there. That's nice. Now let's come out here. We would lose. I really don't want to lose those houses. I think if we got rid of that road, let's pause. We miss going to school. Well, you know what? If you guys are unhappy, they're green. They were green, but they miss going to school. I can just fit. And then why don't we curve this instead of knocking down a house? If we need more water, we can always just put down water towers. Or could we have just could I think we would have lost a house. Well, if we did it that way. Sometimes it says you don't lose a building, but then when you actually click, it disappears. Let's hope not. That's actually not bad. Can we get a park or a little? Yeah, so now that means I don't see any possibility. Let's see what happens. Look at that. We could get one more. Okay, so we're in good shape. And then also, we've got water all throughout this city. So we could put water towers. We could even... We've got multiple places where we could put water towers because nothing is going to develop here. So you could do a water tower there. You could do one there. It doesn't detract. from anything. It actually looks pretty cool. Before I forget, let's get this taken care of. Let's do this. Let's do this. Oh. Maybe they should be right next to each other. I like how this park has kind of become the signature of this city. Now, what happens to their land value? We knocked down some important parks, I bet. Yeah, see that? We lost some high wealth. So we may end up having to do we could do that. That would solve because that has a really strong radius. That house is not going to be happy. Look at that. That fits nicely. Got it. That's what I need. I just need to keep these homes happy. And then that could still, we can do water towers, but we can still do that. Wonderful. Excellent. Excellent. That's nice. Just a good place to go. They're going to need a bus stop. Can we get a... Because a park and ride acts as a bus stop. No. Let's do one there. Maybe one right there. Good. So we just doubled our capacity for ships coming in. That's funny. I was worried about the casino. Oh, let's see what the lodgers. So yeah, if we had not put these up here, I think this would have still started to turn a profit. So, okay, more feedback. Do I leave it like that? Or do I go back to the way it was? This building here, I wish that building was on this road and it would be medium because technically that's a high rise. That's high density. But because it's a small footprint, all right, we're making a profit. I could almost take the taxes back down for low wealth. We've got plenty of jobs. We are ever so slowly inching up with medium wealth tourists. All right. If we did streetcar, The big question is, where would I even put the streetcar depot without... I couldn't do streetcar here, or not completely around it, because then I would have to turn these roads from medium to high density for streetcar, and I would lose all of these buildings. They'd revert back from British architecture. And we would also be getting high rises. That might be the reason why we can't do streetcar. We'd have to make sure that we didn't have zoning. Some of this zoning would have to change. Oh, you know what that means. At some point, as this city grows, these buildings are on a high density highway. So if it stays like this, these buildings are going to go high rise. Not for a while, but they're going to go high rise. Casinos, gambling houses are all doing well. Good. Remember the last city we just came from? And just like that city, the airship hangar is just not... it's not bringing in the people the way that I'm used to it, and I think it's just the way this region is laid out. But I could be wrong. And there's nothing wrong with the bus station. The bus station is in great shape. I am thinking about another house of worship. Maybe where I was thinking about that annex. I mean, they'd be kind of close to each other, but I don't want it. It could go where that high rise is. Remember, I'm a little concerned about that anyway. And if we line up, kind of think it needs to be this building, and maybe this section along here is kind of the historic landmark section of the city. It's too bad that they're making a lot of profit. It's too bad that they're making a lot of profit. I wish that they weren't happy. I wish. I, we'd lose both. Got lots of jobs. So it's not like it would have a negative effect on jobs. I'm going to do another house of worship. I'm going to do a bus stop. If there isn't already one here, yeah. Maybe in our story that we're telling, this area here, maybe this is the earliest parts of the city, the historic area with monuments and the amphitheater, Big Ben. That's nice. That's nice. Kind of has a little neighborhood feel. You got some not enough room to increase density, which is actually a good thing. Just a little neighborhood. When you think about some of these, what a lot of cities have, just a little pocket, and maybe this is that historic house of worship, and as the city grew, this came later, even though this was placed first. Maybe that's what this is. And it takes care of my concern for that high rise. This is nice. Look at that. You know what? I think I am going to just stay with with the way this casino is laid out. That does not overpower that or the city. And it looks good at night. People are out at night. They've been gambling, they've been having fun. They're hearing all of these exotic animals.